The only Green MP in Parliament wants to tax meat. Caroline Lucas, the only Green MP in Parliament, is mental. I mean, she's properly mental. She claims she loves the environment, but she supports mass immigration into the UK, which means more resources used, more houses built, and less natural landscape. She loves wind farms, which also destroy our natural landscape. And one of my favourite things about Caroline Lucas is that her constituency just a few years ago was ranked amongst the worst in the country for recycling. So much for being green. And in what appears to be an attempt at out-crazying all of her previous suggestions, Caroline Lucas is now urging Parliament to seriously consider a tax on meat. Amazing. I mean, I'm sick to death of hearing all this stuff. If you want to go vegan, then more power to you. Honestly, I've been trying to eat healthily and go on a diet since New Year, and it only took me 6 days to cave and eat a pizza packed full of meat and cheese. So if you can go vegan, then bravo, I'm impressed. You've certainly got more self-control than me. Good for you. But the fact remains that humans are omnivores. Now, I'm not going to dig up all these old arguments and preach to you. You've heard it all before. I'm not going to sit here and do a video moaning about vegans. I've already done that. What I want to say is something different. A few points that I want to make about a potential meat tax and the impacts that it's going to have. You know, I love animals, but at the end of the day, they're not humans, and humans got to eat. Taxing meat will make people miserable, which is one thing, but it'll even make it hard for low-income families to feed their families. And this is a serious issue. You see, meat is cheap. You don't need to get the very finest cuts of steak, offal, offcuts, whatever. It's all good. You make good soup out of it. You make good stew out of it. It's nutritious and it's cheap. I grew up in a working class town. I grew up in a 2 up, 2 down. We made stew all the time out of cheap cuts of meat. It fills you up. It's nutritious. It's good for you and it's cheap. If you start taxing meat, these low-income families are really going to struggle. It could literally result in people starving, children becoming malnourished, or more people relying on food banks. And I think Caroline Lucas has already admitted that that's a problem, so why would she potentially want to make it worse? Lucas is even encouraging people to go vegan for a month, by the way, this Veganuary movement. Now, how exactly is Caroline Lucas proposing families can afford to pay for all the vitamins and supplements that you need when you go vegan? It isn't a cheap thing to do. You've got to add all these extra things to your kale smoothies to make sure you don't pass out at 1 p.m. at work. And by the way, veganism is nowhere near as environmentally friendly as people seem to think. Quinoa became such a favourite with hipsters just a few years back that it became too expensive for local people in the Andes to buy it for themselves. And in Mexico, they were producing so many avocados that they had to import avocados from overseas in order to feed their own local people. And just look at all the packaging on your veggie soy protein powders and your veggie microwave meals. I mean, this isn't an environmentally friendly affair. So let's stop being so fake about this. Caroline, stop being a faker. The most environmentally friendly thing you can do is farm organically at home in your own country. Encourage healthy mixed diets. Encourage as much of the animal to be used as possible. Very old school way of doing it, but a very nutritious, sensible way of doing things. And it results in families being able to feed themselves nutritiously on the cheap. Is that not a good thing? And we also got to stop flying vegetables from thousands of miles away just so you can have an Instagram-worthy lunch. I'm getting sick to death of this stuff. I mean, Caroline Lucas, you're full of crap. And you're hurting families. So pipe down. We're not funded by the government, we don't have big sponsors, and we certainly don't have massive donors. If you'd like to help support our work, please go to rebeldonations.com/thebuck.